Fair enough. But you made Blight, gotcha. I think he had the director position on gameplay and mechanics. Ah, he's Larry Dwight. Yes, I do know that. I do know that. He is the Dwight self-insert, basically. So he was a director of sorts. But the biggest thing I will convey to whenever someone leaves, sometimes when someone leaves, that opens up the possibility of someone better stepping in. And it's one of those situations of always sad to see you go, but happy to see you, like, sad to see you go, but happy to see you leave type of situation, right? You know, it's better for them because they're moving on to bigger and brighter things, hopefully. New killer next week on PTB. That would be the hope. We don't know that for certain yet, however. We do not know that for certain. That would be the hope, however. Why would you stop there? Teaser tomorrow, most likely? I would imagine you might be right. Why are you at this locker? I want to check for his head on just in case. That seems a bit interesting. I hear a gen. Oh, can you get off that gen? It'd be really appreciated. Yeah, so I think at this point everyone is is everyone pretty much on agreement that it's going to be Hellraiser and probably Pinhead? Because that's what the teasers seem to be bringing us to at this point in time. Hi, Leon. You drop? You do not? Oh, how do I just botch that? That's funny. Well, it gave me enough time to go for a hit again. Do you want death? Or do you want me to just follow you, Leon? I'm confused. Okay, Dead Hard, you got it. Drop the pallet. You vault it, you do not. I mean, I'm a 110 killer without phase walk. You get upside down, it's fine by me. Upside down is like the last that you want to do, ideally. Hi. I'm gonna do something stupid. Rather that than Five Nights at Freddy or Candyman. I actually didn't mind the idea of either one of those, I'll be real. Hi, how are you? I didn't mind the idea of Five Nights at Freddy or Candyman. I was kind of on the Candyman train at first. Let's phase walk again. And let's down you. But yeah, so Hellraiser is gonna be interesting. The biggest thing is that I feel like a lot of people don't know what Hellraiser is. I feel like Hellraiser, though iconic to many of those who are like old horror buffs, to many, Hellraiser is like a long forgotten thing, right? It's old at this point. So I'm curious on that fact, what the inspiration was for going with Hellraiser, if there was any specific reasoning. That was not right. That seems meh. I mean, bees? Well, that's the biggest thing when, you know, we were talking about the idea that it could be Candyman. That was the curious question of, you know, what was his power going to be? You know, would it be hook related? Would it be bee related? Like, I like the idea of a insect related killer. I won't lie. Always pack Soul Garden DS because of my teammates. Fair. Let's check. Ooh, good Dead Hard. You're annoying. Good body block, though. I do appreciate it. He's in a worse position than she is. Hold up. Leon boy, don't think you're getting away. Slightly Butcher is definitely a good idea. You're a bit too loud. Oh, you're going upstairs? That's a bad idea. Butcher's over here on this. You don't have Dead Hard. I know that. But yeah, so I'm excited for Pinhead to see what power they're going to bring. It's going to be interesting that we have back-to-back licensed killers as well. I will note, why would you do that? Why would you do that? Why would you come up here without any value potential? Interesting. Medal of Man or Breakout maybe is my main thought process. So the SBMM for this match is strange. The reason why I say that is because my spirit has had at one point a 21 win streak. To be fair, okay, here's the thing. We haven't played a lot of spirit recently, so that could be a major factor. Because SBMM's taking data from roughly 3 months ago at this point, so maybe that's a factor in all this. Good attempt at corner tech. Once we saw the scratch marks end, I immediately phased back in. Where's Meg? Meg hasn't gone for the unhook. Why? She's behind me? I just heard footsteps behind me. Why? I just went into an area that had literally no hooks. Holy hell. Where's Meg? Barbecue. They're there. They're probably going to go for the other unhook as we speak. Probably from upstairs to downstairs. Let's parse to this. She dead. One thing I wonder about regarding SBM, how does it use the stats to find a killer for a Swift with different ratings? It takes the highest rating for that Swift. So whoever has the highest rating is who it pairs off of. So if you have a hour 0 survivor, and you have a hour 2000 survivor, it's going to base the SBMM theoretically off the hour, 2000 survivor in comparison. Where's Leon Boy at? Oh, I hear Leon Boy. I hear Leon Boy. He healed. Scratch marks going downstairs. Let's drop down. They'll get the unhook down here probably. But we may be able to intercept for a hit at least. Let's phase walk. Hook change position in that direction. I try to get around. Oh, don't do it, Meg. I see your pathing. Yep, she's gonna go for that. So now we body block out. Hit Meg. Body block out again. They go for a vault? No, you're smart. You're gonna go for a pallet. It's a weak pallet though. Take phase walk, and we're good. Leon Boy, stop that. Seems kind of harsh if there's a with a 3 ranked 19s, 1-5 for example. Yeah, I understand that it seems harsh in essence, but like realistically speaking, what is harsher? That situation, or a situation where a baby killer is getting, ran for 5 gens by 1 survivor while their friends do gens, and does that as well teach those survivors that are new, any real skill, right? Does their friend at rank 1, theoretically, because we're using ranks to judge skill, which is not a good judge of skill, do that? Should even out a bit, though? I don't think so. I think that people, if they understood that worked that way, eventually we will make sense how SBMM measures, because someone's going to run tests, right? Someone's going to use the scientific method to figure it out at some point. Where did this person go? You're on the ground. You didn't go far. Did you go upstairs? Up here. You did. You did, you sneaky bugger. Go in the hole. Thank you. The answer is with people around your level, which I find like most friend groups do. On the occasion, of course, that's not the case. Also, where's the hook? Oh, god dang it. The hook spawned really awkwardly because basement's over here. No, basement's not over there. He's gonna get my shoulder, I bet. Yeah. Yeah, but that's on... that's not on the game to try and fix, right? Rank does not mean skill. Yes, rank does not mean skill. That's why they want to move away from that thought. All that rank means is how much time you have played during the current month. It does not equate to skill at all. Mechanical skill is something that, for example, I impart on you guys as an educational killer and educational survivor, but as Giraffe pointed out, is that sometimes they can apply the skills that I provided them, but not always. But GG's, well played, the Survivor. Originally, BP was based around BP. That is correct. It was the same way that you can kind of max out or cap out your blood points. That was basically your pipping system. If you maxed out everything, you would double pip, more or less. Was that system bad? Oh, god awful. There are easy ways to abuse that system, and I mean easy ways. I mean, killers farm. Survivors can farm other survivors off of hook. There is a litany of ways that you can gain blood points, but not be playing the game efficiently or effectively, for that matter. How do they work it out now? What, for SBMM or for the ranking system? Ranking system is based on certain objectives. Unhooks, for example. You know, safe unhook is X amount of points towards your benevolent action, so on and so forth. Farming can only breaking totems and sabotaging random hooks. Pretty much, exactly. You can farm blood points very easily. Okay, see someone on that gen. I want to keep in mind Ruin is gone now. And they found Ruin pretty quick. What was that, Dwight? Did anyone else just see Dwight zoom across the screen? Because I definitely saw Dwight zoom across the screen. Idea for a tournament? Mind if I bounce it off? Yeah, what's up? I'm curious. I actually, if you're not aware, I actually run my own Dead by Daylight competitive league called Champions of the Fog. White blinked? Apparently he's the nurse. Didn't know. You see them healing under that hook? Let's go for that. And popped. There is David, and there is Bill. Who did we first hook? Was it Bill? I forget. Either way, as we know, that Bill doesn't have DS. Let's go for Bill Boy. We saw the grass move there. There's the pallet. And the Lonely Moth. Thank you much for the follow. Welcome to Guilty Ones, my friend. Very happy to have you here. You on hook. I feel like we did see a flashlight. Funny. There's actually a really funny thing that just happened there. 2 survivors attempted to blind me. Because 2 of them attempted to blind me together, it was an early blind. That's actually funny. I see a Yoon. Let's pop this. Let's then break this, as it's a really strong pallet. Each Derek states for him stays fire, lose a point, and kill gains a point. Kill counts as additional point, and so does an escape. That, unfortunately, as much as I would like to say is a good system, is not. The reason being is, so I play competitive Dead by Daylight. I think you're aware, but maybe you're not. And the reason why that wouldn't work, because all that is going to be is hooks versus, or escapes versus kills. That's all you're measuring. And there are very easy ways to abuse that type of system. Whether it be camping the first survivor that you get. Whether it be, stop that way. Whether it be, there's the Yoon. Try to get a hit on her. You know, camping hooks, tunneling out, stuff like that. I always see everyone talking about how easy Spirit is. Do well if you get 4Ks, and I play her, and yet I do quite well, and a lot of concentration when say it's easy. I think when people say it's easy, they're really saying that it's easier than other killers, if that makes sense, which I would agree. I would say that any average Spirit player should end up getting a 4K the majority of the time. Any, you know, very good Spirit player, however, is going to get a 4K every single time. Let's pop before we do forget. Or David. David here. Going for the pickup thing. Or Yoon. There you are. I know you didn't go far away. You want to get that flashlight, save you, cheeky little bugger. What you gonna do now, though? You gonna leave this poor David all by his lonesome, Yoon? You gonna let him die? I think you are, actually. Thank God. because I want this hook. I'm not around the comp scene, but don't camping hooks mean you'll end up with 2K? Not always. Because keep in mind this, right? So each generator is 80 seconds. Each hook state, however, is roughly 60 seconds. So if you get your first down, let's say for the first 30 seconds, and you have Ruin, and someone, of course, is going to attempt to go for the unhook at some point. That means that multiple people are off of gens. So by the end of the first hook state, one gen should be 3/4 of the way through. At least. Keywords, of course. At least is the real word there. By the end of both hook states, you should at least have 2 gens. But when you lose a survivor, it means that there are less people working on gens. And it means that your next chase is very important. Much like this one. White is now dead. Do you understand what that means now for these survivors? Whenever I now am in chase, it means that there's only 2 survivors on gen. But if you extrapolate that even further and look at the idea of what happens when I then hook someone, let's say Bill here. Bill, if I hook him, and I think he's on death hook, so it doesn't actually matter. Let's say Bill goes on hook, and now a Yoon Jin has to go get him off a hook. Otherwise, he dies in 60 seconds. Let's say that's the case. Now, what's going to happen, though, is that when Yoon Jin goes off the gen to go get Bill, that means that David could potentially be in chase. Like right now. Great example. So David's in chase while Bill's on hook. And Yoon Jin will then have to go for the unhook, which means she's no longer on gens. So, what does this mean? It means that there's no gen progress. And as long as I keep my chases short, like I am now, it means that no one is going to be on gens, period. So getting your first survivor out of the game early is a very, very, and I mean very, strong play for obvious reasons. Because now Yoon Jin goes for the unhook. Let's see if Bill has DS. If he doesn't, you now get Bill out of the game. Exactly. That's the whole thing about survivors. Playing Survivor is a interesting little game of resource management more than anything. And it's why I want to do a YouTube series called Survivor 101, Dead by Daylight 101, and Killer 101. Because a lot of survivors don't understand that fact, that their health states and hook states should be used as bargaining chips to ensure the safety of their teammates. Because if they do not use it in that way, and simply hoard their own resources, then what ends up happening is exactly what we're seeing. Yoon Jin, for example, currently has 2 hook states and 1 health state to give. Technically 2 health states, realistically speaking. Good job, David. Show our red light again. Vault for distance, and immediately phase walk. Dead hard. Need a rule about camping and tunneling, but 2 killers, these are tools to use. Correct. So how do you, as a commissioner of a tournament, also define camping? If the killer has a 3-gen, and they put the survivors in their 3-gen, and don't leave their 3-gen, do you, as the commissioner in that moment, consider that camping? It's subjective. And subjectiveness is very difficult to measure in competitive play. So having anti-tunneling rules or anti-camping rules are counterintuitive to competitive play, in my opinion. Because also how you define tunneling. What happens if a survivor has BT applied off a hook and they decide to take a body block to try and get a BT hit? If that happens, is that considered tunneling by the killer if they wait out BT and down them? And let's say by some means that survivor does not have DS. and they then hook that survivor, is that considered tunneling too? Or should they just leave the survivor on ground for making a fatal mistake and assuming that the killer is going to eat BT? That's another question. So it becomes very tricky for anyone trying to, focus into competitive play to measure those type of things and to try and work against them. That's why in COTF I have a specific point system where you get less points for camping hooks, for progressions versus fresh hooks, but it can't be too steep because I found in other competitive leagues, if it's too steep, those lots of points can also be abused. There's a very delicate balance and dance to be had. Thankfully, right now, I found a pretty good balance that all of my competitive league community is happy with, but one could argue that there are better ways to do it, for example. She gets hit, and block it off, she has to go around. No dice. But yeah, so there's a lot of factors to keep in mind when it comes to competitive play in Dead by Daylight. It's very hard to balance. Come out with win condition. Well, so win condition to me is this. I'm not talking about like my win streak. There's the win streak win condition, which is different from what I consider truly winning or losing. A win condition is thinking about the objectives of both sides. What is the objective of the killer, and what's the objective of the survivors? They're two very different things, of course. But GG, well played to these survivors. Yeah, Trickster at high level is not great, because all you need to theoretically do to play around Trickster is use tight loops. That's sad we're getting Hellraiser, though. Yeah, it seems pretty much locked in. Like I said, I don't mind it. I don't want to pass judgment until I see what the killer brings to the table. And I think that'd be a good idea for you as well, Ocean, is to wait until we see, like, what their power is. Because at the end of the day, it being Hellraiser, all it really means is that... all it really means that it's Hellraiser. What did I just hit? It wasn't you. All it means is that it's going to be a Hellraiser cosmetic, right? It doesn't mean that the power is going to be any less impactful, theoretically speaking. Good dodge. Oh, that was a really good spin. Not sure if that was a dead hard spin or just a spin. I completely just lost her there. They slow vaulted? No, they didn't. They made me think they did. We should be fine now, though. Yeah, this Nia seems to know how to spin. You guys hate the franchise? That's fair. I can respect that. Like I said, though, give it a chance before you make some judgments, right? Hi, Jake. Interesting. Jake also knows how to spin relatively well. He's not playing Shaq. Instead, he's moving into the next tile. Yeah, they both know how to spin. Like, they're on a dime. Holy hell. Yeah, exactly. Whenever there's a new killer, most of what I'm interested in is not necessarily even the power. If it's a good killer, I'm happy. But like Trickster, I didn't mind as much. With Trickster, I kind of looked at it as, okay, what is his perks? And I can say happily that Eruption, for example, is a decent perk. Hysteria and everything else, not as much, but still. I know that she's back there. I want to pressure Jens, though, while Ruin's up. Yeah, I have no idea what his power is going to be. That is going to be a good question. We have good window, which is good. You just box yourself in, my dear. Let's see if you have Dead Hard. No. Good. So, Nia showed some promise at the beginning, and so has Jake. I don't know about Tap or the other Nia, though. We haven't really been in a true chase with either one. We see him over here on that gen that they were on earlier. Let's make our way over during the phase walk. There's Nia, which means Tap's the one who went for you, Jakey boy. Now, I'll say I do think Jake is attempting to go for the unhook. You drop the pallet, go for it. I'm gonna go for the unhook because I think Jake went for it, which means he doesn't have DS. And I can punish that. There's Tap. We're gonna go for Jake instead. Hit you. Test out if Jake has BT. He does not. Jake is still nearby. There he is. I want to try and fake out the phase walk, but I don't think that's necessary right now. Tap is out the window. Okay, Tap doesn't seem to have a good head on his shoulders, I'll be real. Because now all we do is we pick up Nia and test out DS. But you have to remember something, right? It's not iconic to you, Ocean. Which means it's not iconic to other people. Like, old school horror buffs are gonna be very happy if they play Dead by Daylight, which, with a lot of the horror franchises that are in it, they probably are. But at the end of the day, you have to understand a few things. It's generational. There are generational factors in it. There's personal taste. And you're not going to be happy with every killer that's introduced, and that's okay. As long as we can admit that, you know, there are the people who will be happy. Were you going to lock her? No. I see scratch marks. Going for what, though? Going for basement? We can play that again very easily. And it's Jake, which it is. We know that he doesn't have BT. Too bad Tap wanted a suicide anyways. It's a bit of a moot point. Head on! You had head on this entire time, Jakey boy. Very nice. I think Nia gave up. Pinhead Larry from SpongeBob. I mean, that's fine. At the end of the day, that might be something, might be that they were exposed to that and not Hellraiser. You can't really speak on the popularity from 5 people. As someone who knows statistics, you can't base popularity of something off of that small of a sample size. You know, you'd have to ask upwards of thousands to tens of thousands of people to be able to see how popular Hellraiser is. And then you need to take into consideration, you know, the age group that you're asking, stuff like that. Like that, there is a lot of factors to weigh in before saying, well, people don't know who Pinhead is or Hellraiser. There's a whole lot of statistical factors to keep in mind, and more likely not, behavior already pulled that data and did A and B testing. And basically ran that data and said, oh, okay, this generational group knows knows what Hellraiser is and knows who Pinhead is. Enough so that they wanted to do a collaboration. But GG, well played to these survivors. Still no word on boon totems. Keep in mind that things like boon totems were conceptual and might get applied if in testing it goes well. If it doesn't go well, then it will go to the wayside. Much like how SBMM is currently being tested. Burnt Out and Hellraiser, that's fair. I imagine it's more of the Burnout Ocean and less of the Hellraiser. I think Hellraiser is just maybe the catalyst, more or less, for the decision. But I doubt that is the main issue at hand. Did I hear chest? I think I heard a chest. Maybe it's a rat. I don't know. Odd. Let's phase walk again. scratch marks. Hi, Leon. And broke console. I had to take a break. Yeah, it's fair. I mean, console was broke for a while there, so I can understand that. Yep, that's not a vault bud. I'm sorry to say. Yeah, it's icing on the cake introducing a movie I despise. That's fair. Like I said, I imagine it's more burnout than anything. I really want to just get a quick whack on you, to be honest. I know I'm close enough to hook to take my time. Dead Hard still bonks my console? Yeah. If you're on console, just don't use Dead Hard. Like, just point blank, just don't use it. It's a bad idea. There's scratch marks going down. Like, going where? That's the real question. Scratch marks go out. 5 years without a bad DLC? Well, see, that's where other people that aren't you would highly disagree. There are many people out there who, you know, have hated many of DLCs out there. Let's be real. There are some that have been adamant about how horrible DLC is and it's going to ruin DVD, yada, yada, yada. But, like I said, everyone has the right to their own opinion. And much like that, you know, people are going to disagree with that opinion. That's okay. People like what they like and don't like what they don't like. That's a-okay. Yep, Dead Hard, you greeted that palette. I'm not sure about that. Lithe gamers rise up. Lithe is a really good perk in my opinion. I like Lithe a lot. It's usually my go-to exhaustion perk. That's not true. There is more than just Trickster. There's been many of controversial additions made to the game over the years. Sometimes it's content-based, like the killer itself or the survivors, and sometimes it's more based around perks and gameplay. Yeah, Legion was hated. Freddy was hated for many reasons. Legion and Freddy are like the two big ones that come to mind. That is correct. That is very much true. He goes for the vault. That's fine by me. That's because Legion was cracked upon release. Yeah, Legion was a thing. We'll put it that way. Am I tracking the right person? I don't know if I am. I am. Look at that. We're going to this corner. We are. And we'll have a power up. Legion's an OG. That's fair. But either ways, I think the whole conversation's kind of going around in a circle. Obviously you're not a fan of Hellraiser being added, whereas you know, other people are going to find it to be okay, and that is, you know, up to everyone's own opinion and thoughts on the situation at hand. I hear you, Fingman. Corner tech. Yeah, that was some corner tech right there. Very good job. I do appreciate that play. But didn't last you long. Freddy is iconic, but people were not a fan of Freddy upon release. Nor during his buff, either. There are many things people did not like. Exactly. As well add Pope Francis, in all fairness. I think you might be going a little bit far, Ocean. And I think I'm just gonna, you know, request that we end the conversation. It's very obviously not really going anywhere, and it's not like we're going to change any people's minds. The intention in the first place is not even to do so, right? The intention is just to, you know, obviously have a discussion around the new killer. You drop pallet, go for it, Leon. I believe you're dead on hook, aren't you, boy? I think a lot of people would just for the memes, let's be real. For the memes, people probably would. You'd like another map? I am fine with them not adding maps as long as they provide good gameplay. I'll be real. I am perfectly fine with them not adding a new map with this next update. That'd be a-okay by me. And then them revisiting that IP and then adding a map later. That would be very acceptable in my opinion. Hi, Fingman. Let's go for you. Do you vault? Do you even have a vault? You do not have a vault here. You have a dead arm. You do not. I beg for a remix on these maps, add more windows or less palettes to the game. For the most part, most of the maps are not bad. Some of the legacy maps, and when I say legacy, I'm talking about like Macmillan and Coldwind at this point. Oh no, not Coldwind, sorry. Macmillan and Backwater Swamp desperately need a rework. Haddonfield would also be another good one that needs a rework, I would argue. Gideon Meat Plant? Gideon Meat Plant's not bad. Keyway has plenty of cracks of ours that can fill in. Exactly. At the end of the day, like I said, if you feel burnt out, you know, don't feel pressure to play a game that you're not happy playing at this point, Ocean. There's no point in doing that. Where'd that survivor go? I genuinely do not know. Progress. And there's only 2 survivors left on 4 gens. They're not going to be able to do too much. Oh, I hear a generator. Oh, you're bloody too. Excellent. Making my life easy here, Jill. Alright, she'll drop this. Why did you not drop that? Yeah, I'm so confused by that play. I swear I'll DC if I face Pinhead. I mean, hey, I've heard plenty of people say the same thing about many different killers. So, wouldn't it be the first time someone's done that? Are you suicide, Joe? You do not see Cheryl at all. Pain. Well, let's go to this gen over here and pop it. She's suiciding. That's a wee bit unfortunate, I won't lie. I like my 3rd barbecue stack. But if she's suiciding, I guess it's a good example of how SPMM is just not working for me right now. Like, I don't know what it is, if I just haven't played a lot of matches of Spirit lately. And thus, because of that, our matches have been really bad, or what? But these have been freaking shut in closed cases with Spirit. Let's switch around for Hatch. So if I nothing. And if they do happen to release a survivor with it, I'll do everything in my power to sandbag them. I do not believe they are going to. To my knowledge, they're releasing Pinhead as standalone, or at least the next killer as standalone. And then a survivor standalone as an OG. So far, nothing on the outskirts. Where are we at? Of course, this map is horrible to try and find Hatch. Could be in middle. I haven't checked there yet. Make one more pass. Still nothing. Went back up to the gen we regressed, so now let's dive in middle. Not here in main. Check over here. We found it. And so did Cheryl. GG, well played to the survivors.